Well, that's life. We are live. Let's have some fun.
These are the days of thunder.
Oh,
We're
I lost
gonna
it.
make time stand still.
There we go.
A quarter after.
There we go. I'm going to have to cut that one up just so I can have that one little beginning bit. I like that little bit. It just sounds cool. One more time.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
There we go.
A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall.
I've lost it entirely.
Sometimes I feel so uptight.
There we go.
I've
got it back. How about you?
Every day doing the same old thing. We're losing time.
There we go. All right, both sides are working. Okay, let's wrap this. Let's start playing with all the other bits and pieces here. So we were having a nice little chat about the irregularities in the U.S. election. In some ways, we're not impacted by that. In other ways, well, I really don't know. How are we impacted?
Well, you and I are both still American citizens.
Shh. Quiet. That's a secret. That's a state secret. Hush, hush. Let's not let any state secrets out here. Nobody knows that.
Uh-huh.
I've worked very hard to, no, to hell with it. But that doesn't mean anything. I'm a Canadian citizen too, so I don't have to worry too much about it. I'm an expat permanently now. United States has been a crazy thing.
But don't they have the right to scoop you up for any reason or whatever?
Nope.
If you have the American citizen?
No, they can't just scoop me up and take me away.
No, not take you away, but I mean, they have the right. You are affected by having the American citizenship.
Biggest effects is I have to file my U.S. income taxes every year.
That is true.
That's a very expensive thing to deal with when you own a business.
Yeah.
Big pain in the ass. No, anyway, we were discussing. I think I was getting on about, like, I was curious about, with all these magical votes that have been appearing for Biden, I was beginning to wonder, has it actually happened where they're actually getting more votes than there are registered voters?
I'm thinking that's probably the case.
There's some cases showing up where there's more votes than there are registered voters. Whereas I was hearing one today on a No Agenda show where there was something about more mail-in ballots were recorded than were actually sent out.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of really strange irregularities, and of course we know Trump's going to fight this to the bitter end. If he's going down fighting hard. All right, keep talking for me.
Well, another magical thing that happened was, the 100,000 votes that appeared at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And not a single vote was given to Trump during that time.
Oh, yeah, that one was actually a mathematical impossibility.
Yes, it is. And also, in a few of the states, they aren't allowing the Republicans any closer than 30 feet for the watchers.
I wonder. There's something going on there?
Coincidence? I think not!
Yeah. I saw this interview that was done on, I can't remember what channel. I watched so many channels. But there was an interview I watched, and the fellow was talking about how he was not allowed to get closer than 30 feet. He pulled up binoculars trying to see, and they put up barriers between him and the ballots that he was supposed to be the Republican representative to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
kind
weirdness.
A lot of weirdness and strangeness going on. You think the U.S. I think the U.S. has turned into banana republic. These are the kind of things that happen in banana republics. Third world countries where a dictator is getting ready to take over after all the so-called voting. So
my partner's always saying that we live in a third world country with a first world face.
Testing 1, 2. Okay, that just seems it's like all too even. Let's see what we got here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
All right, silence for a second. Okay, all right, so it is picking things up, and it looks like I've got some very even patterns here today. Woohoo!
Is that a good thing?
It is. It doesn't happen all that often. Usually it's crazy all over the board. Huh. Maybe the gremlins are, feeling good today. Maybe they've gotten their fill of electrons for today, and I won't have to have too many problems. Now, just so everyone knows, we are supposed to have a special guest here for the show today, but we're not sure he's going to show up. We could end up getting a call in through Discord partway through the show. He's supposed to show up at 1:45, but not here yet. So it'll change things up just a little bit in the show as we go along, and we'll just stumble over things as we usually do. I mean, what the hell? If life is not fun, if it's not worth stumbling over from time to time.
Well, that's how you get the cool dances. Watch, you just stumble a few times, turn into a dance, and it's all good.
Oh, absolutely. And in this day and age, that's of course what they do. Hey, look, they're doing a cool stumble, triple, wop, hop, bop. And let's see, what else have we got here? So we've got a whole lot of cool things happening along. There's new sorts of events happening in the show. So make sure you stay tuned after the show. For those of you listening to the early little bits here, you can come in, listen to our random conversation about stuff as I play with it. Instead of doing this offline, we decided to start doing it online just so you guys can hear the random crap we talk about.
Sometimes it's very entertaining.
And sometimes absolutely pointless.
It'll be interesting to see how the next few weeks play out after this election week.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be really interesting how it plays out over the next month and a half to see what's happening with it. Mainly because they just don't know. In my lifetime, I've not seen an election go this insane before. But then again, we weren't dealing with as many insane people as we were. Usually people were like, all right, I lost, my team lost, my president lost, or my candidate lost. All right, suck it up, support the one that's there. In 4 years' time, we'll boot him out if he's a useless tool.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's this time around, that's not exactly what happened. People went out of their way for weeks. They went out of their way for weeks to try and destroy Trump. Years, actually. For 4 years, they went out of their way trying to destroy him, and he just persevered through all of it. How? God only knows. Man has stamina.
He's got steel skin, that's for sure.
Steel skin and stamina. Did you see how many times he was crossing back and forth the country in the last 2 weeks coming up to the election?
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Jeez, I hope I have that kind of stamina when I hit my 80s. No, he's in his late 70s, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in his late 70s. Probably helps that he doesn't drink.
That probably does help, yeah.
And that's a major factor in and of itself. All right, well, we're coming down to the wire. I think we can pump out a little music so you guys can hear my bad singing, and then we will move it to showtime. Let's go.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
so we'll move it right along. Went missing down Highway 49.
Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chiggers seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that takes us right up to showtime, folks. So let's get ourselves all wound up and ready to go. And we shall see what happens mid-show and as we move through it. So it will be fun, I'm sure. Let's get this puppy wound up and get us off and started. Off we go. Under a new flag and charting a new course. It's episode 484 with plugins for Virtual Life, Variations, Colors, Dark Life, Notifications, Pro Admin Pages, and ClassicPress options. All coming up on WordPress Plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever-lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today, but of course, a couple things right off the top. We have great appreciation out there for the No Agenda Show, for their inspiration of ideas, and the occasional stolen sound clip.
Squirrel!
Before I get started, I want to remind you all to hang around to the end of the show for our segment with Amber, question and answer segment. And to those listening on the podcast, you may want to check out the YouTube version of the show because the quick Q&A segment gets cut in two. So make sure you check that out. And it is time for me.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
All right, so this is number 43 of 51 episodes for 2020. It's episode 483, and things on the show are moving and shaking into a whole new creature. We have reached week 44 of the year 2020, and we are now 33 weeks into the Rona. Interesting how USA election week matches up with the week 33 of Rona.
33, that's a magic number. Coincidence? I think not!
I wanted to mention that it is now called Election Week because of the few states that are still holding back their findings of the vote count. First time in history that I know of that the count wasn't completed by 7 a.m. of the Wednesday after Election Day. There's a whole lot of things going on with the election down there. So therefore, it is an excellent time to grab up a piece of sanity for yourself away from the insanity. Make yourself a little place where you can tune out for a while. For me, it's my balcony with potted plants and a swinging bench, though it can be a blanket thrown over your couch to build a fort, in your bed with your door closed and a do not disturb sign or a sock on your door, or even in your car. Get into that zone out space of yours, throw on some fun music, grab a book, or even throw on a book and grab a drink. Kick back and breathe. Try to get there at least once a week, more if you can. If you have kids, let them know that they should only bother you if they are broken, dying, or bleeding for 1 whole hour. Make your area comfy for you, and try to remove all internet and radio with news hours while zoning out. Try to let go of everything outside of your control, and work on pestering those you know and care about to get their own zone out spaces started. I'll bet this helps within a few short weeks.
Alrighty. Nice little piece of info. Okay, it is time for us to move on into, here we go.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right, everybody. Time for tech news. John, do we have tech news?
Oh yeah, we've got tech news, and I'm having some problems with my buttons here today because I hit the wrong one and it quit working. Alrighty, well, what do we got for tech news this week? We do have some tech news for you as we jump into this entertaining week. Now, we're supposed to be introducing our guest to the show, and he did not make it at this point yet. So it looks like we're going to have to just continue this show without our special guest. Maybe he'll reach back out to us and reconnect to become a guest on the show. All right, and first piece of news I got for you this week is you can log into WordPress by touch or face ID via the Passwordless WP plugin. This is an interesting bit of news that they've introducing a plugin that will allow you to use a touch ID. Many computers now have a little touchpad on them. Laptops have a fingerprint reader on them that many people are using for their passcodes on lots of websites and such now, tying that stuff in, or they're going to be using the Face ID, which is what your newer Apple phones, which is why I refuse to get one, use. The goal is, of course, making site easier and more secure, but I'm not so certain about that myself. That just seems to be leading down a deep, dark hole of dystopia to me.
It just seems like a way to collect everyone's info and put it into a database. Makes it so much easier to find people when you have their fingerprints, face, eyes, everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, and that just crashed. Okay. That's really good for me. All right. And next one up we got here this week, we have insecurity from Discord, Chromium, and WordPress forced updates. Now, many of you may have noticed last week, we got a couple articles along this line here, is last week you may have noticed that there were 2 updates to WordPress, right back to back, 5.2 or 5.2.2 and then 2.3 or something like that. Anyway, I lose track of the numbers. There were 2 updates.
0.3 and 0.2.
Yeah, 0.2 and 0.3. At any rate, they were back to back, and I noticed it because I get notifications from all the websites I monitor, and suddenly I have a full inbox. I'm like, what? And so, okay, everything was pointed update. So anyway, it was because of cross-script vulnerabilities, other vulnerabilities, and of course, when they released a 0.2 update, they broke something, so they had to immediately turn around and release the 0.3 to fix the thing they broke, which has always been my complaint about auto updates, is that they break something and then they have to unbreak it, and what if they can't unbreak it if they break it? That's going to be an interesting thing when that actually occurs, because it's bound to occur. It always occurs. Something always eventually goes wrong with computers. Computers are not our friends. They pretend to be, but they are not our friends.
They're probably all hanging out and laughing at us.
Yeah, well, there are tools, man. They are tools. And I mean that in many, many senses of that word.
I wonder how much overtime the people who are working for WordPress are getting whenever they break something.
They don't get overtime. Most of the people who do that stuff for WordPress are actually volunteers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the vast majority of the code that is created for WordPress, the WordPress that we use, is created by volunteers. So they don't get overtime.
Huh.
You know, some of them, there's a chunk of people that work for Automatic and that companies supply stuff like GoDaddy and others help supply it, but That's what happens is, they might make some money, but the vast majority of WordPress code is done by volunteers.
Well, that would definitely be a great way to build your resume.
All right, no, let's pop into I brought up the wrong article first. Yeah, this is the continuation of that. I had the articles in the wrong order. This is it with 5.3, now available one day after 5.52 was released. And of course, it was because an alpha issue. That's what they get for playing around. Okay, the other one that we were just at, list of the top 10 most popular caching plugins for WordPress. This is a nice, interesting article that if you're looking for a caching plugin, you haven't settled on one yet, go read this article over. Go check what they've looked at and what they're talking about and all the different caching plugins. There's some really good ones in here. I've tried a couple of them. I've tried Hummingbird. I didn't find it all that great. I used Comet Cache, I think. No, W3 Total Cache. Basically blows chunks, in my opinion. WP Fastest Cache is what I use. And I have used Comet Cache and a few others. But there are a lot to choose from. So you might want to read them over. Some work better than others for specific purposes and reasons.
Here's a question. How long do you have to let it run before you actually see a difference?
In caching?
Yeah.
Should happen immediately.
Okay, so you'll notice a difference like within...
Not if you're logged into your WordPress website. You won't notice any change at all because it's designed to work only for visitors to your site, not for administrators.
Okay, so how would you check it out? Just
You'd
log
open
out?
it up in another browser.
Okay.
If you work in Firefox like I do, you'd open it up in Chrome.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And that way you're not logged in on Chrome and you can see how it's working. Either that or you log out of the website and check it out. I like to be logged in when I check stuff, so I just use another browser. I have 2 versions of Firefox running, Chrome, and every once in a blue moon I fire up the Windows, what do they call it now, Explorer or something? Or
Edge.
Edge, there we go, Edge. I don't know. They made a good browser about 2 decades ago, shortly after Netscape became terminal, and they haven't made a good browser since. I think, to my opinion, Netscape was the best browser ever, till it went downhill. Somebody bought it out and then killed it. Probably Microsoft.
Probably.
All right, next one up I have for you: how to run a domain name auction to sell your website or domain name. Now, this is a really nice article from Elegant Themes, and if you've got extra domains, and I don't know any developer who doesn't have at least a dozen or 2 dozen, or in some cases 150 domains. I don't know anyone like that. But you end up with a lot of domains you collect over the years, and every once in a while you want to get rid of them. I mean, I've trimmed mine down over the last few years. I think I probably had over 200 at one point, and I realized, I'm not going to use this.
That's
and
a
this
lot.
And this. It's you just keep buying them, and $8 a year, you don't realize you're spending all that money.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, it's a really good article on how you can put them up on the auction sites to try and sell off your extra domains, make a few bucks. Now, I have made some money on domains. I think my top domain I ever sold was $6,000. I sold one domain name for $6,000.
Blimey.
Sold I sold a couple for around $3,000. Most of them I usually sell when I do sell one, I sell it between $500 and $1,000. But it makes
Not bad.
It's a little extra money. You're not going to get rich because all the good domains are already sitting. Somebody's already sitting on them, waiting for someone to offer them the next $100 million for it. So, like sex.com, I think back when that one, that exists, and that one went for a lot of. In fact, it was stolen once.
Wow. How do you steal a domain?
It's not easy now. Back in the early 2000s, it was real easy to steal a domain.
What'd you do? Like hack in and change the
hack
password?
in, you change some stuff. It was all done.
Okay.
Yeah. It was real easy. It's a lot harder to do now.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess I had one more article about the 5.53 release. So that's basically all the news I've got for you today. All right, so let's move along here and see what we've got. Donor support. This show is supported by you, the listeners of the show, and without you, we really wouldn't have a show, or there'd be no point in doing this show. I mean, we don't need to do this for ourselves. We do this for all of you all out there. So what we'd like you to do is realize that we run this show as a value for value model. One of the reasons for that is, of course, it helps keep us independent. We don't have to actually kowtow to any of our I had to write word in the word. The people who give us money. But if you guys give us money, you give us money because you like the things we're doing, not because we're doing them to make your product look good. Sponsors, that's the word I was looking for. Any sponsors? You know, I'll take a sponsor, but they have to understand that I'm not going to treat them any differently than I do anything else. So the big thing is if you get any value out of this show, whether it saves you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or anything along that line, well, one of the things we'd like you to do is just...
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Just send cash. But, oh, now that's interesting. I forgot to switch screens. Glad somebody finally pointed that out to me. That means there's a whole bunch of stuff I did there at the beginning. Yeah, well, there's live video now. At least there will be in about 10 seconds from what I was notified. I forgot to switch that one screen. It's always got to be something I mess up on the show.
Well, the sound worked really smoothly
The sound went good today, so I had to mess up somewhere else. So
gotta keep the scales even, you know?
Yeah, that's the way it works. All right, so yeah, you guys all missed all the news articles. That's all I really had in the backgrounds behind me there. All right, we're talking about sending your cash to the show. That's one of the big things that can help. There's other ways you can help this show out. You can do things like Charlie does for us. He's sending in clips for us now, and he's managing our contest section. So thanks a lot, Charlie. We greatly appreciate the time you put into this. That's a massive amount of value to us for this show. Another way you can send value to the show is such as our artwork. We get a lot of artwork right now. It comes from Angel Lamu over at Koa Digital. And this week's artwork, if you want to see the sneak peek of it, it's up on the air. It is a wonderful new pirate flag that's got the WP logo as the new head of it. I like that flag.
That's awesome.
It's a great one. So thanks a lot, Angel. We greatly appreciate it. So that's something else you can do if you like to create artwork, unique kind of artwork. Submit it to us so we can use it on the show. It gets changed every week. So every time there's a new show put out, new piece of artwork appears in the players that people listen to this on. Okay, executive producer is a credit we give out to anyone who donates $50 or more in a week. Everyone below that, we thank you very much, and you stay anonymous. So thanks a lot for those that have donated small subscriptions. They really help this show out, and they're greatly appreciated. And also a big thank you to all of those out there who have hired me because of the podcast. Thank you. That's as good as donating to the show. Yeah, well, just send cash. I don't want blankets. Absolutely. Okay. That's all we've got there. So let's move it along to the meat and potatoes part of the show. This is why everyone actually shows up to listen to the show. First off, ClassicPress. There we go. There's my tongue tripping over itself again. ClassicPress options. Don't really have them. I haven't done any work in ClassicPress in weeks and weeks now, so I don't have time to research it. Anyone out there listening that is a ClassicPress user, please send us the information. We would greatly appreciate it, and we can get it up. You can supply us with pre-recorded reviews of plugins if you like. Anything along that line. Save some time and get us more information. So there's the usual stuff there for ClassicPress, which is all of the links to all of their forums and their ClassicPress things, Code Potent's website, and for some reason it turned, I don't know if it's been resolved yet, but I was told that Code Potent had blocked me on Twitter, and I have no idea why. I haven't even tried to talk to him in months. Okay, so let's see what we got out here. WordPress plugins. What have we got this week? Well, as I set up for my first spot, I'm giving it up to Charlie, and he has sent us in a pre-recorded review of a plugin that we are offering a contest for coming up soon.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlie. I'm reviewing WP Admin Pages Pro today. Try saying that, John, after a couple of tequila shots.
I'll work on it.
This plugin is from the same developer as the much discussed WP Ultimo plugin. It's a paid only plugin. There isn't a free version, though you can try out a demo on their website. This is a fantastic plugin for anyone that creates websites for someone else, whether it be a friend, for a group, or as a web design agency. It allows you to completely redesign the dashboard to make it user-friendly, add your own branding, and even embed videos. Basically, you can design your dashboard as a page with your favorite page builder and then replace or append the dashboard with it. You can even add multiple extra subpages to the dashboard. You can also take it a step further if you wish by creating alternative pages for different levels of users. So, for example, an editor would see completely different pages to an administrator. At the moment, it's compatible with Brizy, the pro versions of Elementor, Beaver Builder and Oxygen, and Divi and Gutenberg are coming soon. I give this a 5 dragon rating.
There we go. We'll pick up the slack for you, Charlie.
I think it's brilliant.
It is. That's really great. So thanks a lot for that, Charlie. We greatly appreciate it. And it is an interesting plugin. I haven't had time to play with it yet, but I do like it. And it's probably something I'm going to throw together on the next project I'm getting started on, just so I can incorporate it into that project and customize out the admin area. So quiet. Oh, did I not have the volume loud enough for that? Ooh, no. It'll come through nicely on the podcast portion of it, but that would be a problem I had for the live stream. Okay, so that's something for me to be aware of. All right, thanks, Charlie. I greatly appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
I seriously think I'm missing out by not being able to see the chat over there.
You can actually monitor the chat from your computer. So we'll have to set that up for you next time. Yeah, well, the chat's
please.
actually active today. Charlie's all over the place today, so it's lovely when somebody's in there chatting. It has to distract my attention. All right, next plugin.
My turn to mess up with speaking. So first plugin I've got is Easy Dark Mode on one click. And it was an awesome idea. However, in practice, it kind of fell short of the mark. It's a brand new plugin, and what it does is it turns your site to dark theme as soon as you download and activate it. Unfortunately, while inverting all of your backgrounds and word colors, it also inverts all of the pictures that are on your site. It's a pretty cool effect, but not really the kind of effect most people would go for, not unless they're setting up for a rave or something. The idea was sound. Practice is not quite there. I'll check in later on this plugin to see if they manage or even bother to fix a picture issue. I rate this as 3 dragons.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Hey, this is the point here where our guest was supposed to bring his plugin to bear, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read it out for him. And it comes from, it's supposed to be coming from Rex Theme. And Rex Theme, this is a plugin called Variation Swatches for Woocommerce. And I don't know a heck of a lot about it, so I'll just read out the write-up he'd given. Instead of drop-down options, buyers choose from product variants in a smart way, using visual button swatches of color, image, or label. Moreover, you can use images or icons, if your own choice, as variation swatches to connect with buyers on product pages. You can also choose the shape, border, color, background color, hover color, font size, and many more to customize your own variation swatches and make your buyers curious with attractive swatches on display and grabs the attention. He didn't give a rating for the plugin, but it does look interesting, and if you're doing WooCommerce, this might be something to look at and help enhance your product's display on there. Lots of cool tools you can be. This is a freemium plugin. It means you get the free version here. They have a pro version that is available elsewhere. So go check this one out. It may be of value to you. Okay, the one plugin I brought to the table today, because I thought I had pretty much the day off for talking, and I was just going to showcase some stuff for folks. And I only have one plugin that I actually brought to the table. This one here is called Notification Bar Builder for Elementor. Now, if you've been around WordPress any length of time, you'll notice there's been all kinds of bar builders, bar elements, top bar, bottom bar, hello bar. You want easy ways to do them, easy way to present them, be able to build multiple bars, have them go to multiple pages, etc., etc. This looked like a really neat plugin for doing that if you're doing building in Elementor, because you can build your bars in Elementor as a bar widget, basically, and then you can apply and tell it what pages to appear, some spots to appear, times to appear, when to fade away, etc., etc. A lot of the stuff you need is free, but some of the really important items you'll have to go to the premium version for. You want to check this one out. I'm busy checking out the free version. I just loaded it up to my website today to experiment with it, and we'll see how well it goes. I think it's going to be really nice. We're going to use it to start putting some better notifications up on the website for WP plugins. At any rate, go check this one out. I currently give it a 4 dragon rating, of course, because I haven't tested out the premium version yet. Notification bar builder for Elementor.
And the next one I've got for you is Cube Color, new plugin. It's an interesting plugin. It wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be at first when I initially read the description, but what it does is it adds some new tabs for your plugin, or for your app. You know what? I'll just read the thing. When you plug in and activate this, go to Plugins, then Add New, and you will see 2 new tabs called New and Beta Testing for your plugins. When you go to the beta testing, you get a list of plugins that are still in the beta test phase, and you have the opportunity to play around with them. When I first saw the description, I thought this meant you had the option to use new plugins as a beta test within your site. That would be cool, but after thinking about it, I don't know how that would really happen. When you go to the new tab, you now have instant access to all of the less than 10 downloaded plugins that are available. The new tab is also the default tab when you go to add a new plugin. It's really, really useful. Makes it a lot easier to find the less often used plugins. This is a total freebie. I think it's a very useful plugin, as it cuts away the need to separate search I am not able to talk properly today.
Oh, maybe I should have gave more rum at the beginning of the show.
Oh, you didn't give me any. Maybe that's the problem.
There's the problem.
I rate this at 5 dragons.
It is a cool plugin, and basically what it does is it restores the functions that were there in WordPress about 8 years ago.
Really?
Yes. They didn't have the beta testing ones tab available. That tab could be very, very dangerous for experimenters like myself. And I'd have to make sure I never put this plugin on an actual live site, because I'd be too tempted to try something and break it. So you really wouldn't want to use this plugin on anything but a dev testing play sandbox website, or even a duplicate of whatever live site you have, so you can find stuff. But that new tab that used to be there in the plugin folder, or the plugin add plugins window.
That's silly that they removed it.
Yeah, well, they did that so they could make everybody look at the featured plugins, which I think it's like 6 out of 10 featured plugins are from Automatic.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's where Automatic always puts all their stuff and promotes it. And they also put the Woocommerce stuff, which is now owned by Automatic, so it makes no difference. It's all Automatic.
I've gotten in the habit of just completely ignoring the featured plugins.
Yeah, I ignore it entirely. And most people probably do by now. Okay, the next one we had up here was another one that was supposed to be brought in by our guest, Shami, I believe was our guest name. And this one here is another one from Rex Theme, and it's called Wpvr 360 Panorama and Virtual Tour Creator for WordPress. It looked familiar to me. I may have actually reviewed this one somewhere in the past. And this one here is an interesting plugin. In particular, what it's good for is if you're running a real estate website, this would be a great one for creating virtual tours and other 360 views. It'd also be great if you're doing outdoor video and you're showcasing video on your website, etc. There's a lot of stuff that you can use this for. So it's a really interesting plugin. I kind of like it. They've given it a rating of 4.7 out of 5, which is probably their rating from the WordPress repository. And I don't really trust those ratings at the repository, especially since they banned me there because I was trying to give people proper ratings and they didn't like that much. It could be because I was crediting WordPress Plugins A to Z for giving the rating, but
definitely.
Tomatoes, it was still me. At any rate, a great plugin, one you might want to go check out if you're looking to have those sorts of things happening. So currently, this show is brought to you by... Are you tired of the same old web hosting? Not having the resources you need to run your website properly? Having a lack of control? Then you need johnoverall.com web hosting, providing you with all the resources you need to smoothly run your WordPress website or ClassicPress website. With strict limits on the number of clients allowed per server, johnoverall.com provides high-quality, fast server performance. Visit johnoverall.com for web hosting that won't slow you down. Absolutely. High-quality web hosting. I'm starting to fill up my last server, so if you want hosting through me, you'll want to get it soon because it is exclusive. I limit the number of clients per server. Okay. And we had a quick question here for Hemdian. I already answered it. Is there a plugin that filters plugins to those that are compatible only? There probably is, but I'm not aware of it.
That would be useful, though.
They have something similar like that over ClassicPress. You can there's a ClassicPress plugin that sets up to filter if it's compatible with ClassicPress. So there probably is something, but I'm just not aware of it.
Excuse me.
Okay, next thing we've got for you here, and we are into the point of contests. We do have contests, and I do want to once again thank Charlie for coming to the aid of the show and getting our contests all organized. So we now have a few in the queue. We do have a winner from our last week's contest where we gave away a lifetime license for Fluent CRM, which is a self-hosted email marketing automation plugin for WordPress. And that was a lifetime license, quite a value there. You can go to Fluent CRM's website to learn more about this plugin. And so the winner is John Kirkpatrick. Congratulations, John. As soon as you reach back to me with the email, we will get you your key. So thanks a lot, John. We greatly appreciate you enter. And we had quite a few people enter the contest. I was really quite happy about that. One of the biggest number of entries we've ever had for a contest, which is surprising, I know.
Oh, it was a good prize.
It was a good prize. And the next prize coming up, we have a contest. It starts today, November 5th to November 17th. The winner will be announced on the show on the 18th. The new giveaway is a chance to win a WP Admin Pages Pro. We just talked about that plugin. Charlie just talked about it. It's a really great plugin. It is an unlimited lifetime license, which is valued at $149. The plugin is a must-have for anyone that creates websites for clients, friends, groups, etc. With WP Admin Pages Pro, you can create admin pages for your clients using your page builder of choice, like Beaver Builder, Elementor, Brizzy, Oxygen, and more to come. The contest will run from today until November 17th, with the winner being announced on the show on the 18th. So get over there, wpplugins.com/contest to enter the contests. And I believe that's where it goes. Yep. There we go. There's a nice little picture of it all. So thanks a lot. That looks great. That's a really nice page. Thanks, Charlie. Looks great. All right. Now, closing out this stuff, we'll close out a couple things before we head into the Q&A segment. I covered up the following plugins. Well, I covered up a plugin. The plugin I covered was Notification Bar Builder for Elementor, which I gave a 4 to, and then the WP Admin Pages Pro, which Charlie covered for us, it gave a 5 to it.
I covered. My goodness, I'm really having trouble today.
You are. I need the drunk or not drunk app. Jingle.
So I covered Cube Color new plugins, which I gave a 3 to, and dark mode for WP Dashboard, which I gave a 3 to.
Okay, and the ones that Shami was supposed to be covering, which I read out for you all, is the Wpvr 360 Panorama and Virtual Tour Creator for WordPress. Wow, that's a mouthful. Which was rated between 4.7 and 5, and the variation swatches for Woocommerce, which got no rating.
I just need to say something. Actually, yeah. I gave a 5 to the Cube Color new plugin, not a 3.
Oh, well, why did it get written to a 3?
I don't know.
Oh, see, that's what happens when you read stuff verbatim and we don't correct it. Oh, well.
It is.
All right. A couple of quick reminders here. We still don't have a meetup plan, but we will have those coming real soon. I'm just about ready to start winding that stuff up. If you're interested in interviews, go check out wpplugin.com/interview. You want to find out more about me, just go check out theroguestavern.com. That's where all my videos of everything else I'm doing in life are located at. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's strange. All right, and it is time for us to pull into the question and answer segment of the show. So let's take it away, Amber, with your questions. Oh, actually, hold on a second. We've got something to do here.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
It's question and answer time.
Absolutely. That was cool. Hopefully that came through a bit louder.
All right, so the first question I've got for you is, what are webhook connectors? These were mentioned in the previous contest write-up.
They were. And you know what's funny? I thought I knew what they were, but I actually had to go look it up because I had no clue what they were. I'd like to pretend I have all the answers to everything, and I usually can pull it off quite nicely. And I probably could have done that with this, but I figured I'd be nice. Webhooks are actually something, webhooks and connectors, as it's defined, are a simple way to connect your web services to channels and teams inside Microsoft Teams. So it's used for connecting your program into Microsoft Teams to allow you to do stuff using the Microsoft Teams app. And the Microsoft Teams app is a collaborative thing where people work together virtually.
Okay.
Kind of like, what's that thing? Chaz, Snap.
Zapier?
No, not Zapier. It's all the millennials' favorite tool for talking to each other because they're paranoid of seeing each other in person.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know.
And they don't even know how to use a telephone properly. They think it's made strictly for texting.
I'm a terrible millennial.
You are. You're a horrible millennial, man. You actually make phone calls and talk to people, and I can't even catch you looking at Twitter on your phone.
I don't have Twitter on my phone.
See, that makes you a horrible millennial.
Or Facebook or anything.
You're going way downhill now.
I have lots of audiobooks though.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that. Not Snapchat.
All right.
Zoom. No, it's not Zoom either. There's another one. It's I keep forgetting. We got lots of suggestions in the chat window, but
Snapchat?
not TikTok either. No.
Snapchat?
TikTok. Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm talking to myself, and because these some of these comments are coming from John Overall, and I'm pretty sure I'm on this side of the screen. I love the Ghost in the Machine. All right, so next question.
What is SQL injection?
Okay, SQL injection. This is one of the most common hacks that goes on. It's particular for WordPress, but it's vulnerable to any CMS system out there. And what it is because of the way forms are taken in, or if you allow additional data to be inserted into your site, or for the hackers that have figured out how to stick a string of data on the end of a website URL. It's like, I don't know if you know that a website URL can have up to 256 characters.
Yeah, that I did know.
Okay. Well, you can start with your domain name, and then you can put question mark after it, and then everything after that question mark is a command of some sort.
Oh, that I didn't know.
You'll notice it when you look at the URLs from different things. You'll see a question mark in there. Well, that question mark is a command or data for tracking or something else.
Okay.
Well, what the hackers have figured out is sometimes if they can figure out a way to your database, they can add in that command information into either the URL or in the form fields of the forms that are submitted to your website, and that will inject information into your SQL database. Your SQL database, or your MySQL database, which is your database that WordPress is completely made from, is vulnerable to that. And once they get an injection in there, usually what they inject is something that allows them to hack into the rest of your website and gain access. So SQL injections are one of the biggest things that are a problem. And cross-site injections are even a bigger problem. And that's a whole nother thing to try and explain. But it's still basically along the same line of what SQL injection is.
Okay. I remember reading something about using SQL injection as a test.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing when you're using it as a test? Like, are you putting an injection into your own site to test it out? Or?
Yeah, I suppose so. I really don't know. If you're using an SQL injection as a test, it's probably a way to seeing if you can inject information incorrectly. I mean, if you want to look at it as the basic way of SQL injection, is like when you create a post, you're injecting information into your SQL database.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think of it that way. I think I see SQL injection. I think of the nefarious ways that it's used. So,
Evil genius syndrome.
well, there you go. Here's another one from Hemdian. SQL injection can be on any input box where the results are then used in a dynamic SQL statement.
Okay.
Thanks, Hemdian. Appreciate that. A little bit of information.
All right. So next question is, what is Gzip compression?
Oh, we just skipped one. You went right past the beta.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay.
We'll go back to Gzip compression. That'll be the second half of
Okay.
Q&A.
My apologies. So what is beta, and how is closed beta different from beta?
Okay. Well, beta is when they're building software, there's generally 3 stages: alpha, beta, and then actually 4 stages: alpha, beta. I can't remember the one they call that is production ready, and then production. So alpha is when the code is raw, it's horrible, it's basically barely working. Beta is when the code is sort of working, but it's really buggy. And so they find people that they call beta testers, of course. And it's different from beta males, which is pretty much the same thing. But beta testers those testers work the code hard to see if they can break it, and then when they find it breaks, they record those breaks and they send that data back to the programmer to go, okay, it broke here, this is the information I captured while it broke. Hopefully this helps you find the problem in your code and you fix it. What closed beta means, like open beta, like WordPress, the next version of WordPress is in beta now. 5.6 is in beta. That's an open beta, which means anyone can go download that beta software and test it and see if it works, see how well it works. Closed beta means that you have to belong to the company, get an invitation. You can only get to use that program if you're invited to use it. That's what closed beta means.
Oh, okay.
That's the only difference between open and closed beta, is whether you're invited to play with the software. Release candidate. Thank you very much, Charlie. Good years. And target the plate readers in a gas station. And now this is an interesting one. Rolling back to the SQL injection, Hemdi and I think a few years back, someone tried SQL injection on a car license plate to target the plate readers in a gas station.
Oh.
Now that's a brilliant hack, actually.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant hack. Because the plate readers will read that data and inject data. Wow, that's hackers sometimes, man. Their imagination just astounds me sometimes. All right, so we're gonna play the extra credits here for those of you that are listening live stream right now. So hang around after those, and I get to have my tequila shot, so I get to enjoy the last bit of the show with a nice little slight buzz coming on, and we'll come back after for a couple more questions that Amber has. For those of you listening on the podcast, you're going to have to go to the YouTube version to check it out. And we do have links in the show notes for that. So I'm going to let my girl take us out of here, and I'm going to enjoy my tequila shot.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wpplugins.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
I just love that little giggle. All right, well, let's roll on to the next question there, Amber.
Okay, now I get to ask this question. What is Gzip compression?
Okay, Gzip compression, that depends on where you're talking about what it is.
I honestly, I saw it in something and I don't know what it is, so.
Okay, well, Gzip compression is most commonly, you might have seen it, and it's probably the term being used for when you're looking at a website. And most websites, depending on the browser setup and depending on whether they've inserted the proper code into their htaccess file, the website is delivered to your computer as a compressed format in Gzip. It's zipped up before it's sent. It's sent over, so it uses very little data. When it hits your computer unzips it and displays it for you.
Okay.
So Gzip is the compression format. It's also the compression format that is used by servers. Like when I download a backup from my servers of my files, it's saved as whatever name the file is, .gz, which means it was gzipped compression up. Gzip is a compression format that is very, very good. It's been around probably since the beginning of Linux. I think it was one of the first compression formats available before we started using the zip compression format, the .zip files. And .zip does a very good job, but Gzip compresses even further. So it's a really great format and it works well, but it's the most common format used for delivering file or web pages over the internet, compressed format. But not every website is being delivered via zip compression. And that requires the servers to be set up correctly to have Gzip turned on. And it also requires you putting commands into your htaccess file to tell it to deliver the files via Gzip.
Okay, so essentially you go to any to whatever website set up with Gzip, and when you link onto that page, you're getting it sent to you in Gzip form, and I'm just confused.
Yeah, well, don't worry about it. You will learn this. As you get more and more involved in this, you will learn this, especially when I start teaching you about how to manage a server.
Do you need something to unzip the files that you save for the backups of the sites?
Yeah.
Like, do you need something special to unzip
I use
it?
WinZip. WinZip unzips everything.
Okay.
WinZip is universal. It handles tar files, Gzip files, zip files. There's several different formats of compression in zip. And WinZip does them all, which is why you want WinZip. I remember when WinZip first hit the market, probably about 15, 20 years ago. It was like a godsend. I didn't have to use 5 different programs to unzip all the files I needed to unzip. Yeah, I've been around this industry way too long. All right, one more question.
All right. Say that there is a site with about 150 posts, and there is an identical embedded link on every single post that no longer applies. How would you remove that link? Would you need to go through and remove the link individually from every post, or would you be able to do something that would change all 150 posts in one foul swoop?
Okay, we can do that. I think we're really missing out on the text or on the chatting window. They're discussing wine right now.
Oh, nice.
You got Charlie, Hemdian, and myself discussing all kinds of things in there. Wow, it's a good thing I can talk and discuss things in the chat at the same time.
ADHD, it's useful.
Oh yeah, it's very useful. I can't actually do that. That's not me. Okay, so what you're talking about here, yes, there is a way you can do this in one fell swoop. It's easy enough to do, but it can be dangerous if done incorrectly. There are programs. I use a program called Better Search and Replace that allows you to go in and search for a phrase in your database through your back end of WordPress and then replace it with something else. It's the best way to do it. That's the best way to do it because it searches all the posts and files looking for that phrase.
Okay.
But you got to be careful if that phrase or that link is used in any other way that you don't want it removed, you could break it because when you do a mass search and replace on your database, it's an all or nothing thing. You can't just target specific areas of it unless you get very good at writing SQL queries, and then you can go into the PHP myadmin of your database manager, which takes you directly into the database, and you can run MySQL queries against specific things. And that takes a little bit of talent to write those queries. I can't write them. When I've needed specific queries written, I actually hire that job out and get those queries written. We do test it. What you do is you make a backup of your database and you test those queries against it. Because once you damage your database, you can't undamage it. You know, it's like throwing things in the trash bin then emptying the trash bin. Once you empty the trash bin, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
You don't get those digital bits and bytes back. So you don't mess with these things until you make a very good backup that you know you can restore back to before you broke it.
Yeah.
But it can be done, and I have done it. I have done just such a thing as replacing a single link in several hundred posts.
What if it's not that you want to replace it, you want to remove it entirely?
Oh, you just instead of saying replace with something new, replace with a blank space.
Okay, and it doesn't leave the link behind?
No, it just removes it. Removes that text entirely.
Okay.
It's gone. So yeah.
So either do it individually or use that and
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do it individually and be certain what you get and only worry about breaking one at a time, or save yourself lots of hours of work and risk breaking it. But if you make a backup first, if you break it, you just restore it, and then you know you're going to have to spend hours doing it. So I usually try this method first with a very good backup. And if I pull it off, I'm happy. If I don't pull it off, now I know I've got hours of work ahead of me.
Why do you keep saying very good backup? Is it possible to make a backup and have it be a crap backup?
Yes it is.
How do you know if it's a crap backup?
You test it.
Okay.
You test it on a dev site. You load it up to a dev site and see if it restores. It is possible. I've done it. I've downloaded, look like a perfectly good backup and say, I'm good. I break something, I restore it. It won't restore. It's got a broke it. Oh shit. Oh, now I'm.
Oh.
So I have to go back and yeah, it's backups. It's like that's why I say I need the other jingle, the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. It's like make backups and make backups and backups to the backups to the backups. It's you gotta do that. I don't trust computers about as far as I've thrown them.
No, they're kind of evil.
Yeah. And we got a little bit of discussion here for better search and replace. Yes, it's great. Always make a backup first. And yeah, I use it to replace HTTP with HTTPS all the time, but I've used it for other things in the site too, such as this exact thing, this exact scenario Amber has talked about. So that's it. That's all the questions we've got this week. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. Wow, we hit a new high of listeners. Got 6 of you online. So thanks a lot for all of you that showed up. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, anything else?
Not that I can think of, no.
All right, thank you everyone for being in the chat window and chatting away. It was actually kind of cool to see that today. So we're going to let it roll out at this, and that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
All right, off we go. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.